Hello, I'm ABX Toycat, and welcome back to another video. I figured in Minecraft 1.9 being so close after all of this time it's been in development, it'd be cool to use one of the last snapshots of 1.9 to give you some tips for the update itself just before it comes out so you can be prepared and ready. So yeah, 5 tips you might not have previously known about Minecraft 1.9. Hopefully you do all enjoy the video. If you do, please do like it and let me know because it helps out the channel a lot and lets me know you do like the Minecraft 1.9 stuff. Anyway, let's get straight into it, shall we? So let's start with the first, thing, which won't become as too much of a surprise to most of you that do know this is the combat update. There's a lot of changes in this to, facilitate combat, including making the sword have a timer. But one of the things you might not have known is the axe, which used to be a second-class weapon where it's really just a weaker sword, is now going to be the strongest weapon in the game. Again, this sounds bizarre, like, oh, we're going to be using axes all the time now? Well, not necessarily, but let me just first of all prove this. So here's a spider, right? Let's hit him 3 times with a sword, just to prove our point. So get a full recharge, then do it again, then a full recharge, do it, wait, one more time just here. So full recharge now, and there you can see 3 hits with a fully recharged sword. But if we use an axe, which has a slightly longer cooldown time, but in exchange for that, you can see it's actually going to have slightly more damage just there. So 2 hits to kill the spider, pretty nice, pretty handy. So why is it the case that the axe is stronger? So obviously the axe has slightly more damage. It's actually 20% more damage, roughly. But in exchange for that, it has 60% slower attack speed. So damage per second is much higher on the diamond sword, but if you can control the engagement and you can go in, hit them once, and then go back out, then go in, hit them once again, then you're actually going to be doing better with the axe than you will with the sword. Add to that the way sharpness has been changed, and I really do think that axes are going to be a viable PvP weapon, and they might even become the dominant one. It depends on exactly what people are playing. I'm really looking forward to seeing how people do with that. I know most people aren't excited. 1.9 combat, because they're like, oh, it's different and it's ruined, but in my opinion, I think 1.9 is going to be very cool and different because things are going to change a lot. So that's the first thing. Axes are stronger than swords, which is a weird thing to get around, but it's the first thing. The second thing is actually to do with the new boats. So these new boats are from the Pocket Edition, and they used to involve like the same left right motion, but now you can just press forwards and it'll do it for you. So what's so cool about these new boats? What do you need to know? So basically these new boats are pretty cool because unlike the old boats where they kind of sucked on the ground, these boats are awesome on the ground. And not only that, but having a staircase like I do on these roofs over here, just on this roof over here I should say, you can see like if you go down a staircase, it actually works like super speed for the boat. So yeah, the new best way to get around in my opinion is the boat, because even though this is slower than walking speed by a little bit, we can't get this because there's stuff in the way. Even though this is slower than walking speed by a little bit, this uses up no hunger. You can see my hunger bar is not visible, and that means if you need a low hunger way to get around, it's super bizarre that you have to do this, but you can now use a boat. Also, if you didn't notice while I was on top of the roof, I have a Minecon cape now, but if you didn't notice while I was on top of the roof, I actually, I have multiple versions of these. That's because you can now make boats from any type of wood, and it will actually change the color of it. So yeah, that's something you can, I broke the boat. But that's something you can now do. I think it's pretty cool that you can have different colored boats that also kind of function better than walking in some extent, and also obviously they're boats that work on the land. So yeah, I think it's an awesome new transport method, and if you're not using it, or you haven't tried it at least, then you're doing something wrong. So let's move on to the third tip here, which is actually to do with the player height. So the Steve or whatever model you are has always been slightly smaller than 2 blocks high, even though you need to be in a 2 block high gap. So look at me right here. Here's the glass next to me, here's me. So you can see there's a pretty significant difference between my head and the top of the thing. But if you try to have like any amount of non-carpet layers between you and the top, it would never properly work. It would always stop you. However, now after 1.9, they've actually changed the player height, which means you can fit through gaps that you might not figure you can. So for instance, first of all, while you're not crouching, okay, here's 2 snow into this. Usually before, this would be too much because it's, just under 2 blocks. But now you can actually walk into this just fine. So that doesn't seem like you can, but it can. And also, when you're sneaking, you go down a tiny bit more in height because you always did actually go down on your player model. And now you can actually fit through gaps like this. So I can't fit through that while I'm standing, but I can while I'm sneaking. And you can use this for quite a few bizarre purposes. So yeah, third tip here is that you're actually changing height depending on 1, you're just smaller in general. But 2, when you're sneaking, you actually change height now, which is kind of a significant thing. So let's run through here and to the outside, which I don't actually know my way out of this house. Yeah, let's run through the house and let's move on to the next one. Should we just break through a window? I think we're going to break a window. That's what we're going to have to do here. So yeah, let's move on to the next tip, which actually involves being out there for some reason, which I'm just did I miss an exit? That's what it must have been. So yeah, if we just head out through the garret, there we go. That's the way out. So if we move on to number 4 here, this is from the best builds video, by the way. The 4th one here, this is kind of the 3rd one by the way, but it's kind of hard to pull off. But when you're actually using an elytra, you actually go down to less than a block 2, which means that 1 block gap over there, I could in theory make it. I'm really worried I'm not going to, but we'll move on to number 4 if we don't, and just pretend that never happened. We just missed it, but you can see, we could have fit through there, and you can kind of see us almost making it. But yeah, let's move on to tip number 4 here, which is actually to do with the new instead of the new path block. Because if you don't know, this is a Pocket Edition feature. When you right click with a shovel on grass, it has to be grass, not dirt, you turn it into a pathway block. This is pretty cool for making, obviously, pathways. So if we just remove the flower, you can make a pathway like that, and that's nice. But you can also use this, because it's 15-16% block, to do some interesting things, such as sneaking up and spying on people. So, for instance, this on the other side looks like it's a solid block, because it's the tiniest 1 pixel gap, but if you put 3 layers of snow, is it 3 layers? Let's quickly check right here. So, if you use 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of snow, and then go like this, you can actually see through the tiniest little gap, and it means you have a vision advantage on the enemies, because they might be able to see there's something there. So if I quickly run into the water, you can see from here it's like next to impossible to see anything there. You might be able to spot there's a person, you might be able to see their name tag, but it's a tiny little gap, and it's something that you might not have properly thought about. So yeah, as in 1.9, there's a few new ways to sneak around like that. Also, if it's not obvious, if just in case someone does decide to see you crouch, and now you're entirely invisible. So just like that, you can hide yourself, except my ears apparently, but we'll ignore that for now. So let's move on to the next one here, shall we? The final 1.9 tip that I want to give you is actually to do with hunger. So I always preach about saturation in my hunger videos, and a lot of people don't entirely understand the concept, but now you kind of need to understand saturation in 1.9, because they've made it so your saturation means you restore health faster. So if we take off these wings, because they stop our full damage, and then we, I don't know, stack ourselves up and take some real full damage here. So we use the grass blocks too. So if we take some full damage just like this, you can see that if we get up to top health, or if we were at top health, we'd be regenerating very slowly, right? Like 1/2 heart every 4 seconds, I believe it is. But if you have max saturation, or if you don't have minimum, I believe it is, so if you eat a golden carrot, for instance, you can see just how fast it goes up. That's not just the golden carrot being awesome, it's any food. So we'll show you the same with raw beef, even though it has super low saturation. So let's, we'll just use all the snow. We've got a bunch of snow. Let's just stack ourselves up over and over again on this. So if we just slowly stack ourselves up and up and up and up and up, and take some full damage. So actually, the old saturation will be going through. But you can see, as long as your saturation's not at 0, you heal much faster. And that's a really handy little thing right there. So, yeah, in combat, make sure you eat a golden carrot before you go in. It's extra important now. Now, it's not just about not being hungry for longer. It's about being able to regenerate faster. So, yeah, the golden carrot got a serious nerf. And a serious buff. And a lot of other, high saturation foods, like cooked meats, also got a big buff. And I think that's nice. So, yeah, combat in 1.9, I know people like to drag it. And I think it's going to be confusing and different. But I really do think it's exciting because of the, the two things I mentioned, the axes being a viable weapon, and also because of the, new foods being important. But let me know what you think in the comments down below of these tips. Let me know if you knew any, and also let me know what you think about the combat at 1.9. Do you think now that I've said it like this, it's kind of changed for you, or do you just hate it regardless? I mean, I don't blame people who think that way. Also, what are all these blocks around the street? I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, I hope you did all enjoy today's video. If you did like it, please do like it and let me know. It helps out the channel a lot, and lets me know you do like it. Share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you are new around here. I make videos like this one every single day on my channel. Oh, look, here's me proving it with raw beef. Okay, now we eat the raw beef, and now we're at max saturation and we're healing fast again. But yeah, hope you did all enjoy it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye!